Wait, let me check the ads are done. The ads are done in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. I'm too fast. Okay, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Haba! Hello, my name is Tamashi, and all I gotta say is TamaDays. I'm a grumpy Latina VTuber girl who lives in Japan. I try to stream. Well, actually, I haven't streamed in over a month. Thank you for the head pats, Shark. Gracias, gracias. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Thank you for the head pats. Gracias, gracias. Let's see who. Ali, thank you for the resubscription. I lost a lot of my subscribers. Yeah, guys, I've been gone for a month. I didn't even realize I was that sick. Mentally and physically. A lot of mental health stuff happened. What happened? Oh, Shark! Thank you for resubscribing. 9 years? That's crazy. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Let me move my model a little bit here. To the left. Or is that to the right? I don't know. But thank you for the resubscription, Shark. Ali. Thank you for checking in, Ali. Being #1 and checking in. On both the Animal Crossing and on the thingy over there that I have. Gracias, gracias. Hello, Spectre. Hello. Who else, bruh? Who else? Who else is here? Show yourself. And Shark, hello. 9 years. Hope you're doing fine now, Tama. Well, just small update. Things are not going well for me in real life. I don't want to go into details just for like safety reasons. But basically, yeah, I'm gonna be struggling a lot. I'm going to be disappearing a lot as well because I have to deal with like stuff. But I hope everything ends up working out. That's all I can say. That's all I can fucking say. But yeah, let me retry my intro before I go on. What was I saying? Hello! Hello, my name is Tamashi, and all I gotta say is TamaDays. Yes, that is my catchphrase. Do not fucking ask. I'm a grumpy Latina VTuber who lives in Japan and who is a political commentator and a variety streamer. I can't go into details on what my schedule will look like. I'm going to change from streaming to 5 times a week to 4 times a week. And 2 of those days will be political commentary, and the other 2 just having fun, doing random shit. And I'll try that for a bit, see how it works, and see what happens, you know? But I might end up disappearing a lot, just a lot of shit is happening. A lot of work, and a lot of shit, and a lot of bad things keep happening, as always. But compared to the people who are suffering in the world, I have it easy, okay? So that's why I'm trying to keep it together. And in order to keep it together, I would like to continue talking about what's going on in Iran, however you pronounce it. I think Iran is more accurate. And guys, a lot is happening, okay? At this point, if you're not saying shit about it, if your favorite content creators are not saying shit about it, you're kind of shitty, not gonna lie. Like, I'm just saying it. I don't fucking care. You can't not be talking about what's going on. And I'll tell you why. So, I want to talk about the Strait of Hormuz. As we all know, we're currently, well, not we, I'm sorry. America and Israel is at war with Iran, okay? Simply because they want to colonize it and take control of all oil. And of course, Iran can actually defend itself, even though it's not the most powerful military army in the world and has limited weapons and stuff. They have the balls to retaliate, okay? And they've been civil this entire time, trying to negotiate with the U.S. And to start this war, the U.S. killed about 200 little girls at by bombing an all-girls elementary school. Okay, so this is how this all started. By the way, hope you managed to go through what you don't talk about. No, thank you very much. Same for you, Shark. But yeah, like, what is the Strait of Hormuz and why is it important? I think that like the average person doesn't know why it's so important, and so I think that's why it's important. Shit, I'm like, I forgot how to talk again. Shit, chat, help me out here. Help me out. I forgot how to talk by myself on screen in my room. It's important to talk about it. So let's learn, okay? Let's learn. Let me get my logo out of here. Bata! I didn't take it off. Haba! There we go. Now I took it off. And let me turn off my música, my background music. First Twitch alerts. TamaTalks playlist. Haba. Wait, I still hear it. Haba. There's this new OBS update. I don't know if I'm liking it. Take it slow. I'll try. So let's learn about why the Strait of Hormuz is important. Basically, it's the only way at this point where oil from the Middle East gets transported from the Middle East to the world. And when you just stop that, you fuck up the economy really bad. But let's watch this video called "What Happens if Iran Blocks the Strait of Hormuz?" And this video is from 4 years ago. You can't see it there, but it literally says 4 fucking years ago. This is by Real Life Lore. Go check them out. But it's pretty informative. We'll watch at least half of this and get the gist as to why this section of the world, this specific part of the world in the water is so important. So tell me if you guys can hear the video or not. Okay, let's get to it. Boop!
This video is made possible by CuriosityStream and Nebula. Watch another full-length companion video to this one in my Modern Conflict series that explains the entire ongoing Persian Gulf crisis between Iran and the United States, which
wow, and it was a crisis 4 years ago, apparently.
You can access by signing up for the CuriosityStream Nebula bundle deal.
I'm seeing the ad because ethical reaction.
For only $15 a year at curiositystream.com/real.
A year?
This is a stretch of water that's only a tad more than 30 miles wide. It's so small that you couldn't even fit Luxembourg inside of it, and yet these 30
Where
miles
even
make up
is
the
Luxembourg?
most important location to understand in the entire known universe. By controlling these 30 miles, you can effectively rule the entire world, and by closing them down, you can effectively destroy the world. And this is why. The ocean spans most of the planet's surface, about 70% of it to be precise. In order to transport goods from one of Earth's many continents to another, this vast ocean that takes up 70% of the planet has to be traveled across. And in the 21st century, there are many ways to do so. Simply using an airplane to fly across in mere hours might be how you choose to do it. But airplanes are expensive, especially the more and more heavy an object it is that you're moving. So when it comes to cargo, 80% of the 21st century's global trade is still being carried out the way that it generally always has been for thousands of years now, by ship. At any given normal time, there are around 50,000 merchant vessels carrying as much as 6 million containers full of cargo and goods all across the world's oceans and between all the world's continents.
I wonder if you guys have ever seen one of these boats. The first time I've seen them is literally here in Japan while I travel around. And when I look at the sea, you can literally sometimes see these fucking huge ass boats with cargo on them. And lately, when I look at them, I'm just like, damn, I wonder if, like, when are we gonna run out of fucking oil here? Like, I'm just waiting. I think it's like, for Japan, it's within a year, but less than a year, basically. Yeah, less than a year. And I'm just wondering and wondering. Well, apparently, and I have to research this more, but as I was scrolling through Twitter, Southeast Asia, chat, is suffering so much right now. Like, they're already cutting energy. They can't afford anything. And everyone's pissed the fuck off. I think I saw an interview in the Philippines, I believe, where people are just like pissed off at the US, and apparently it's really rare for the Filipinos and Philippines to go against America that much. But Southeast Asia is apparently already suffering. Japan, I don't know if you guys know this, but Japan relies about 80 to 90% of its oil imports from the Middle East, therefore from the Strait of Hormuz. So when you just stop that, you're fucked. You're losing like 90% of your energy. And oil is not just cars, right? It's not just gas. It's used to basically give energy to anything. Electricity, medical supplies. What else, Chad? What else? I'm assuming just literally anything that requires energy requires oil at this point, because oil is the most common way to produce energy. Physically, yes, damn. I've seen them like from far away, but in America, I've never seen it. The only cargo I've seen in America is by train, like where they transport the cargo around the states, I'm assuming. But Jesus Christ. Jesus fucking Christ. When I heard that Japan relies on 80 to 90% of its energy from the Middle East, all I can say is we're fucked. At least those who live in Japan. And I'm pretty surprised that right now people in Japan are actually protesting. Like I've been protesting in Japan since the whole Palestine thing, right? And it's hard to get people to join. Most of the protests I've joined in Japan have around 20 people joining them. And that's because I go around Japan in my area to support the smaller, unpopular places that do protests. But this time, chat, the most recent one I went to had 200 people, ranging from high school boys to mostly obachans and oji-chans. I was so surprised. What the fuck? The whole country of Japan is fucking pissed right now. Of course, we need more people to speak out. But still, like, times 100? That's crazy. Literally, the people that joined the recent protest I was able to go on recently had 200 people. It just jumped from 20 to times 100. Literally. Or wait, not times 100. I can't do math. Times 10, right? Chat, help me out. I can't do math. I'm stupid. So, I know there's people protesting. The only ones who aren't really doing shit is the United States of America and any country that is allies with them. Allies? How do you pronounce that word? So, right now, America, Israel, and the rest of the Middle East that isn't, like, fighting with Iran right now, or isn't getting bombed by the US and Israel, those are the fucking countries that can stop this. But no one is seemingly doing anything to stop America from pulling bullshit. Now let's learn more about the consequences of stopping the boats from going through the Strait of Hormuz.
These networks and streams of ships that you see moving in lines across the world's surface here are the literal arteries that power the beating heart of the 21st century global economy. And unfortunately, the world's oceans aren't very easy to navigate through. The geographic placement of the world's continents, islands, and land masses have created numerous natural choke points that these
also tell me if you can hear the video.
No other choice but to move through. And when these choke points become blocked by whatever means, they can cause a veritable stroke upon the world economy.
Stroke?
This is exactly what happened earlier this year when one of the most important of these, the Suez Canal, was blocked for several days when a cargo ship became unexpectedly stuck in the middle, which blocked nearly $10 billion worth of global trade and caused widespread shipping and logistical delays across the entire world from North America to Australia. But there are other strategic maritime choke points to consider across the world.
Wait a fucking second, chat. This was from 4 years ago, and I think I do remember this happening 4 years ago. That boat getting stuck there. I think I slightly remember that. But that one boat caused a loss of $20 million? That's fucking crazy. How much money are we losing now? Way more than 20 fucking million, I'll tell you fucking that. This boat make me lost money. It caused so much damage, it's kind of funny. Yeah, it got stuck, but now we're willfully, like, causing damage. More than $20 million, apparently. Jesus Christ.
As well. The Panama Canal controls the flow of trade between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans across the American landmass. The Cape of Good Hope controls the flow of trade around the African continent. The Strait
Hello
of
everyone, I'm
Hormuz
Bisky. Hi Bisky.
between the Mediterranean and the Atlantic. The Danish Straits between the Baltic and the North Sea. The
Danish
Turkish Straits between the Mediterranean and Black Seas.
Isn't that
the Strait of
Zaya?
Malacca between the Pacific and Indian Oceans. However, none of these are as important nor as dangerous as the Strait of Hormuz here, for many, many critical reasons. First among them, it's the only possible way for ships to move back and forth between the Persian Gulf in the west and the Gulf of Oman in the east, which then leads out to the greater global ocean. The Persian Gulf is particularly important for this equation because 8 countries share some of its coastline.
8.
Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, and Oman. And for 4 of those countries, the only maritime access they have is within the Persian Gulf.
So, okay. Those countries, especially those countries are fucked if they're not getting anything. What are you talking about? Please look at the pinned. I'm talking about the Persian Chow. I'm sorry, I forgot what I was talking about. We're talking about the Strait of Hormuz and trying to learn more about the war on Iran that is happening right now.
Which means that the 30-mile wide Strait of Hormuz is the only possible location they can pass through in order to access the world's oceans. And if you know anything at all about the Middle East and the Gulf countries, you know that they're pretty much all completely loaded in oil. But oil is only part of what makes the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz especially so critically important. Oil is still the lifeblood of the modern world's economy. Around a third of our energy worldwide is produced by using it, and every single day, humanity consumes more than 9 million barrels of it. Oil is still by far the most common source of energy for human civilization in the 21st century. And as a non-renewable, it can't simply be produced. Oil is a resource that can only be extracted from where it already exists. And
so that's another thing, chat, that I think everyone knows this, but we forget about this, right? You cannot make oil. You have to extract it from one specific location within the earth, right? And these fuckers, the United States of Israel, okay, that's easier to say. The United States of Israel is literally also trying to bomb these places, by the way. So, are you kind of comprehending how stupid it is to even be picking a fight with Iran. Iran? I don't know. I think that's how you say it, right? Iran or Iran. I feel like Iran is like American. Iran. You know, that sounds so American. But if I were to read it in Spanish, Iran. Iran. Thank you. What? For what? Did I sneeze? Or did you sneeze?
It's not naturally found in too many parts of the world. Around the Persian Gulf Basin, across these dozens of oil fields marked in green, you can find roughly half of the entire planet's proven reserves of oil, including the single largest oil field in the world here in Saudi Arabia at Ghawar, which all on its own produces nearly 6% of the entire world's oil supply. There are dozens of fabulously rich oil fields here that stretch across all 8 of the countries that border the Persian Gulf. But that's not the only valuable resource that can be found here. Marked in red, you can also find roughly 40% of the world's proven reserves of natural gas. Natural gas is the world's 3rd most common source of energy, behind oil and coal, and more than a 1/5 of the world's energy is produced by using it. Qatar itself produces the highest amount of liquefied natural gas in the world. And according to British Petroleum, Iran possesses the world's largest reserves of natural gas. Between all of these combined reserves, there is more oil and natural gas in the seas of the Persian Gulf and the land immediately surrounding it than anywhere else on the planet Earth. Since 1/3 of all the world's oil production is currently taking place around the Gulf, and 1/3 of the world's energy is powered by oil, and since a further 1/5 of natural gas production takes place around the Gulf, and about 1/5 of the world's energy is powered by gas, it can therefore be said that about 15% of the entire planet's energy supply comes from around the Persian Gulf, and largely behind the Strait of Hormuz. This is why the 30 miles of water here is so insanely important, because roughly 15% of all the energy that humanity is collectively consuming right now largely has no other choice but to pass through it. No other choke point in the 21st century's global transportation network can come anywhere even close to that level of critical importance. And it doesn't help that navigating through it is pretty geographically difficult. There are 8 major islands located inside of the strait which must be avoided by any ships, 7 of which are de facto controlled by Iran.
Oh shit, those are... Okay, he's zooming in. I was like, I can't see them.
3 strategically placed ones are contested by the United Arab Emirates, but the Iranian military has occupied them since the 1970s, so they're effectively controlled by Iran. These areas of water highlighted are too shallow for any tanker to traverse, while these areas separately highlighted have very limited visibility due to the obstructions from islands and land. Dust storms, morning fog, and haze can all make visibility within the strait even more challenging and are particularly common events during the summer months. The UN has established a special traffic separation scheme for tankers and other ships to take while traveling through to avoid the most risk. This scheme consists of only 2 2-mile-wide shipping lanes, one for incoming and another for outgoing traffic, while each is only separated by a 2-mile-wide buffer zone.
That's crazy. So does that mean like only 2 boats can go through that little space right there? Right here? Wait, you can't see my mouse. Only 2 fucking boats, I'm assuming? Or maybe many boats. I don't know. That's just like... There must be like a specific schedule, timing. Like, this has been perfected already. Yo! Hi, Goku artist. How are you? I think, like, it's just... It makes me kind of angry to think that, you know, the world figured it out, right? How to transport all of these, like, resources, both natural gas and oil, to the rest of the world. Thank you, Emil, for being second. Thank you for redeeming that. Gracias, gracias. And now it's literally all of it just stopped. Jesus Christ. It's already difficult enough to like get through. Humanity perfected how to do it. And now the US is just like ruining everything.
The whole route travels through Iranian, Emirati, and Omani territorial waters at various times, and all of the world's largest ships must pass through them, and limited capability to avoid any unexpected obstructions that might or might not crop up. The overwhelming majority of all the oil that flows out of the Gulf travels towards East Asia, 76% of it.
76%.
And most of that travels to only 5 countries. China is the world's largest importer of petroleum and the world's second largest economy, and is heavily dependent on the oil flow coming out from the Strait of Hormuz.
China
because it imports about 45% of its supply from the 8 countries around the Persian Gulf. Japan, the world's third largest economy, is even more critically dependent and addicted. Infamously barren of most natural resources that are required for an industrial society, Japan has always been forced to seek them out abroad and away from their home islands, at times through war, while at other times through trade. Currently, they rely on trade, while oil and liquefied natural gas power more than 60% of Japan's energy needs.
I was talking to one of my students about this. He's like 70. And I was like, yeah, don't you think we're fucked? Japan relies on like 70 or 80% of energy, right? And he goes, no, that's like old. That's old information. We rely on 90%. And I was like, bro, you guys. And I say you guys, but I live in Japan. So like, oh, we are fucked. Shit. I'm laughing, but it's like the type of laugh where I'm fucked, like where I'm scared. Of course, though, everyone here is privileged, including myself, so I really don't have much to be afraid of, but 90%. I don't know. I don't know why people are too calm about it. Is also a thing. Like, the average person that isn't political wouldn't know, right? They would just hear from the news. But yeah, I feel like not enough people are paying attention. Even though there's more protesters compared to the population in Japan, it's not enough people, man. It's enough to actually get attention, though, of course. The Prime Minister of Japan has been kissing Trump's ass a lot, not gonna lie, and she's been really rude. Like, she's just trying to pick a fight with everyone. And if someone criticizes her, she just says, if you don't like it, leave. Wow! It's insane. I'm not used to someone, like, being that rude. Like, I gasp in Japanese, not in American, obviously. But when I see a politician like that being, like, very straightforward, ironically, like, just pretty okay with how shitty they are as a politician, it fucking, how do you say that word? Surprised me. I almost said in Japanese. So, I need more people to, like, think about it, you know? They need to think about this, because it's not only Iran, it's not only Lebanon, it's not only Palestine, right? I mean, mainly it is them, which is why we need to talk about it, and we need to stop this to save them, of course, and punish the U.S. and Israel for their international war crimes. But it's gonna affect the world. Like, no matter what's gonna affect us. Already, too, with, like, the world's already fucked enough with pollution and shit. And if we're dropping this many bombs, the number one child killer, chat, do you know what the number one child killer used to be? And I remember this. I think it used to be car crashes, right? The number one child killer. Like, the reason why children would die, the number one reason, at least, I think it was car crashes, from what I remember. At least, maybe I'm misinformed though, so don't quote me on that. But I know for sure the new number one child killer is just basically Israel. It's just war. Missiles, bombs, drones. You know, if it's not gonna affect you, if you don't see the missiles hitting your family and your homes, you're definitely gonna see it in your wallet. You're definitely gonna see it in the consumption of food, of water, of any basic energy source. Like, this is gonna fuck us all. If you don't like it, leave. Bitch, this is not a fucking kingdom. Fuck you mean. No, yeah. And she got scolded. We should react to that, but feel like I have a lot of stuff to talk about. But no, she got scolded by the, like, I don't know how the Japanese government works. I'm still trying to understand it, but she got scolded in front of everyone. And she was just being a bitch. She was like, I'm fucking here. Like, I was like, shit, what is going on?
Nearly 100% of all of it is imported, and nearly 80% of that is transported by tankers from the Persian Gulf and through the Strait of Hormuz. Therefore,
100%.
nearly half of Japan's energy, the fuel that powers the world's third largest economy, has to travel through the 30 miles of water at the Strait of Hormuz. And South Korea, the world's 10th largest global economy, has similar dependencies. They import nearly 70% of their oil from the Persian Gulf states. And since oil powers more than 40% of their energy needs, nearly a third of South Korea's energy supplies also have no other choice but to be delivered by tankers that are coming through the 30-mile wide Strait of Hormuz. Were the strait ever to be obstructed or shut down for very long, the world's second, third, and 10th largest economies would immediately come to a screeching halt. The primary source of revenue for all 8 countries around the Persian Gulf would also immediately dry up, and the ripple effect from there would almost certainly crash the entire global economy. And in that event, there aren't many options for getting the oil and natural gas around the strait. Saudi Arabia does have a crude oil and liquefied natural gas pipeline that they can use to transport limited amounts from the rich fields around the Persian Gulf over to their ports on the Red Sea, while the United Arab Emirates has a similar pipeline that they can use to transport further limited amounts to the other side of their country on the Gulf of Oman and away from the Strait of Hormuz, but these amounts are all limited, while Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Iraq possess no such ability. At a maximum, it's believed that these pipelines can only divert about 20% of the oil coming out of the Persian Gulf around the Strait of Hormuz. And building any more oil pipeline infrastructure is expensive. All of this means that the 30-mile wide Strait of Hormuz is the most important choke point in the entire world for the global economy to function smoothly. And as a result, it's attracted considerable attention of countless empires and foreign powers from the outside. Most notably, the United States. The U.S. maintains thousands of bases across Oman, the UAE,
spit chat,
Qatar,
spit at
Saudi
the
Arabia,
U.S. right now.
Kuwait, and Iraq. 7 of the 8 countries around the Gulf, save for Iran. This includes an Air Force base in Qatar, and the United States' 5th Fleet being further headquartered within Bahrain, which is generally composed of more than 15,000 sailors, 2 aircraft carriers, dozens of other vessels, and between them and the Air Force base, countless aircraft. As the current largest single source for all of humanity's energy, all of this presence in the area from the United States is generally in place to ensure that the oil continues flowing. And to
Oh, that's what the chat. That's what the U.S. presence is for. That's what the U.S. military is for, chat. Am I right? It's to to stay flowing. Where is it flowing? Where is it going right now? Where is it go? It stopped. Those fuckers ruined everything. And also, now I'm like realizing the wording of like the title in this video says, what happens if Iran blocks the Strait of Hormuz? And it wasn't Iran. It was the U.S. And fucking, what's his name? what's his name? It's not real. So, hello? And people are gonna be like, no, 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 no. You
because
don't kill.
Tonight will be the night that I will yeah, over.
Not Nola just cheered 100 bits.
Oh, thank you, Nola. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for the 100 bits. But what was I saying? You don't kill fucking 200 girls to start a war and think that you'll have control over the Strait of Hormuz. Of course, Iran, to fucking punish you for like constantly killing their people, they need to defend themselves. That's fair. So if you want energy to flow, stop killing children. I feel like I think that shouldn't be hard to do.
Counter Iran's influence over on the other side of the strait. The United States and Iran have had no official diplomatic relations for more than 40 years now, since 1980. And relations between the two sides of the strait have been continuously tense. In the event of a war breaking out, Iran has made numerous threats over the years to close the Strait of Hormuz from their side over to Oman.
See, so even Iran has warned us. This video's from 4 years ago, by the way. But even Iran has told us, hey, if you fuck with us, we're going to block this, okay? Don't fuck with us. And the US fucked with them. Israel fucked with them. Like, what are people expecting here? People cannot be pissed at Iran right now. If you're pissed at Iran, you're a colonizer. I'm sorry. You can't be pissed at them.
Which, if successful, would shatter the world economy. And that's enough of a threat to always make America, or any other foreign power, think twice. But Iran...
Shit. Okay. It's always... and that will make America and any foreign power, chat, think twice. Oh shit, I pressed 0 to cry. That will make any country think twice, especially America. Yeah. It's crazy how you don't know shit about his own country. No, it's not Trump, shirk. This isn't the fault of one person, okay? This is the fault of allowing Israel to get away with everything, okay? The moment October 7th happened and Israel started committing genocide against Palestine, and the Biden administration just kept giving money to that fucking fake-ass country, that's how that would start the domino effect that would lead us to where we are now. It's mostly Biden's fault in my eyes, because Israel and other corrupt officials obviously have been wanting so bad to take over Iran, so bad. They've tried it twice already, I believe, right? We've already watched the videos in the last streams, right? On how America and Western powers took advantage of Iran, and that's why Iran refuses to do any business with the U.S., rightfully so. And haven't done so in, like he said, apparently over 40 years. But like that's always been the goal, especially for Israel. Israel's just power hungry. They want more land and they want to be the biggest power in the Middle East. That's the goal. The biggest superpower in the Middle East. The only other country that wouldn't bend to Israel's will is Iran. So they have to get rid of Iran. They have to make up lies about how Iran has a nuclear atomic bomb, which is a lie, and there's a lot of evidence out there to show that that's a very obvious lie. And they got what they wanted. They fucking tried to start a war with Iran like half a year ago, actually. It failed, but they tried it again and now it succeeded. But if we hadn't normalized giving Israel everything it wanted, which is genocide of Palestine, to the extent that it went through after October 7th, we wouldn't be in the shit show right now. I know that, but that also helps. I mean, at this point, I need to make that clear, because a lot of liberals, okay, a lot of libs out there, always blame everything on only Trump. And then they go, I'm happy that I voted for Biden. Or not Biden, what's her name? I'm happy I voted for Kamala. Hope those free Palestine people, no voters or third-party voters, feel ashamed right now. Now, my bitch, this whole thing that's happening right now is because of Biden and Kamala, okay? Hello? That guy was forging how to talk almost every day. That guy, I don't understand how he's still alive. Israel be talking about the nuclear bomb since the 1991, or at least close to that. Israel has atomic bombs themselves, man. Well, how come we're not, like, on their ass for it, you know?
America or any other foreign power think twice. But Iran's capability to do that is realistically pretty limited. While the Iranian military is powerful, America's is a lot more powerful, and the presence of the Fifth Fleet so close by in Bahrain.
Okay, listen. Clearly, Iran is suffering a lot of damage, but they've been holding fucking well. They've been beating America's ass. And this is something that a lot of people in Western countries probably cannot understand. But when you try to colonize an entire country that actually loves their country, that loves their culture, loves who they are, and have like this intense, very powerful form of faith, you know, that it makes them unafraid of death, right? The US can't compete with that. Fucking 20-year-olds sipping on fucking Monster cans are, or not even 20-year-olds, but like people my generation and older, we don't have what it takes to like truly be prepared for war. Like, the only people who would cause actual damage are people who are already psychopaths, you know, who are willing to kill people. But in my eyes, Iran has been surprising the US and Israel a lot. They've been whining a lot, of course. Israel and America's whining, even though, like, compared to what Iran has gone through and other countries are being attacked by the US, you know, obviously the damage isn't that great, but clearly the US is failing terribly to get control of Iran. Israel's were relying on the US. They're just failing miserably. So no matter how much high tech you have, like, even if they succeed on making the worst possible damage in history on Iran, I feel like Iran will still prevail and will be able to defend itself pretty well. They'll cause damage back. Especially, like, it happened in Vietnam as well. Back then, the US had very powerful weapons that they happily used against children and civilians. But even then, it was all for nothing. Because Vietnam managed to beat up the U.S. and force them to just retreat. A lot of damage was caused, though, unfortunately. And I feel like that's going to happen again, this time with Iran. All they got to do is hold on because U.S.'s money is running out. 2K drones against 2 million anti-drone missiles. Shit, is that... I don't know the logistics of that, but if it's true, maybe? Missiles? It's just like, for what? You know? Well, I know for what, obviously, but the US thinks they can win, they cause major damage, and then they run away with with their tail between their legs, and you just ended up killing a bunch of children and innocent people. For what? For nothing. Of course, oil, power. But shit, man, come on. The anti-drones from the US cost way more than the drones Iran uses. Yeah. So they lose a lot of money. Yeah, but like, America has been in debt since forever, so I don't think money would stop them from anything, honestly. I think... Apparently, Zaya told me that there's a lot of people boycotting the US and Denmark, and I'm like, oh, that's good. You should definitely do that. Like, boycott America and stuff. And I think if like the whole world agrees to that, like treating the US like Israel, but like you actually have to put embargoes on the US. You actually have to fuck the US up and Israel up, you know, and all the other countries that are helping the US fight this war. Then that's the losing money part that would really work. But everything's risky, you know? I would rather just not kill people, right? And but clearly, like, the Strait of Hormuz has been blocked from the US for quite a while now, and the US is still killing people. So it's like, at this point, it feels like money isn't even an importance to them. They're just being so fucking stupid.
Would almost guarantee American naval and air superiority almost immediately across the entire strait. Iran knows that their Navy and Air Force couldn't compete, though, so as a result, most of their focus over the past decade has been centered around building air defenses and missile batteries across the coast that could simply bombard any ships passing through. Iran also possesses a massive arsenal of thousands of maritime mines that they could theoretically quickly fill the 30-mile wide strait with that would ground all trading activity through it to a halt for who knows how long. Theoretically, Iran could probably shut the strait down, but doing so would almost certainly invoke a very sharp response from a coalition of countries who would be staunchly opposed to it.
Yeah, they're not doing shit, honestly.
Likely led by the United States and Saudi Arabia.
They suck. They're literally failing. They're literally losing. They're such losers. Like, the world is laughing at everyone who's supporting the US and Israel right now.
Arabia. That conflict wouldn't be very pretty, and it's come dangerously close to already happening. Just 2 years ago, in 2019, the United States began a military buildup around the Persian Gulf, while simultaneously withdrawing from the Iran nuclear deal and imposing new sanctions upon the country. The conflict escalated from there to the point where an Iranian major general was assassinated in a US drone strike at the beginning of 2020, and led from there to Iran bombarding US military bases across Iraq with rockets and artillery. It was the closest that America and Iran have ever come so far to a full-out war. And the tension still hasn't gone away. The whole conflict between the United States and Iran is an incredibly complicated and incredibly controversial story to tell, full of countless tragedies, misunderstandings, and millions of lives who are almost constantly hanging in the balance. Without a doubt, it is one of the most critical and fascinating conflicts of the 21st century to understand. but unfortunately, it's at the same time not acceptable for me to cover in any kind of detail on YouTube due to their terms of service. After more than 5 years of making videos on this site, I know how making videos on YouTube works, and I know that this video already has a super high chance of being demonetized and unpromoted by YouTube's algorithms simply because of the controversial content that I'm discussing here. But
same
the
for me.
moment I really start diving into the whole history of the US-Iran conflict and how war nearly broke out just last year between both sides, what's all at stake here, why it all began, how it's been fought, and how it all led to where we are today, it's a guarantee
Now that
this
guy's
video will
dead.
be
I can't
censored
believe they
and you won't
killed
ever
him,
get to
chat.
see it.
That's crazy.
So instead, I created another full-length
And yeah, he created that. We have already saw that, and we already saw that ad. So follow this guy, subscribe to him, or go to this website if you want to just get info and all of his videos. Nebular is called. That's what it's called. But now you guys get the gist of how important this fucking strait is, right? We're understanding that. So it's just crazy that 78% of all the energy there travels throughout Asia. And on the 21st, chat, like, we already understand how scarce and how rare it is to have these, like, energy plants, right? That make energy. Duh, hello. But on March 21st, the US started bombing atomic facilities to, and tell me if this makes sense, chat, to prevent a nuclear bomb? Okay. Right? So apparently all of this, you know, killing elementary school girls, I mean, and bombing more schools and children and families, civilians, is all to prevent a nuclear bomb. Which is also why, apparently, not apparently, I mean factually, they're also striking atomic facilities. It doesn't make sense at all. So this is from BBC. This is from BBC News. And it's propaganda, okay? Obviously. They're trying to make Iran seem like the bad guy. But remember, Iran has been retaliating this entire time. The one starting the fights is Israel and the US. So it just sucks. Because the BBC was like, as I was watching this on my own, I'm like, what the fuck? This is like fucking propaganda, assholes. You can't just bomb an atomic facility and be like, fucking Iran retaliated by bombing Israel's nuclear facilities? Like, how fucked up is that? I'm like, bitch, you did it too? You did it first? Hello? Like, where's the logical sense here, BBC? I like that phase. What is it? Pepe cringe, man. They don't even have proof. They just say random shit. Typical BBC. Yeah, typical BBC. Hello, Project Kaizen. It's nice to finally meet you. I've seen you on Twitter. That's how I remember your name. I'm like, oh, I know that guy. Oh, well, I don't know you, but I'm like, I've seen that guy. Guy, girl, what your pronouns, whatever your pronouns are.
Its fourth week, attacks have continued around the region, including in Iran and Israel. Our world news correspondent Joe Inwood has our first report.
This does not feel like a war that's de-escalating.
Okay. This is, before we even continue this video, this is footage from Israel and their allies, right? So they're recording these Iranian missiles successfully hitting Israel or one of their allies in the Middle East. But they don't show the damage caused by Israel. Only like 19 civilians have died in Israel, and I just fact checked this like twice. yesterday, and that was since March. I don't know about now, but as of March, Israel has only lost 19 civilians. One of them being a farmer killed by their own military because they bombed them themselves. They killed a farmer. They killed one of their own accidentally. And they're bitching, like, weren't they pretending like the fucking dome, the missile prevention dome thing was superior and nothing could go through it? And Iran is like, pum, 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 finally hitting them. And then now they're bitching about it. Like, hello? You fuck around, you're gonna find out. Hi, yep, that's me. That's a Raven line. Yeah, that's me. Israel is the young child. You look at them a little wrong and it starts crying. Fucking, you don't give them, you tell them, no, honey, you can't kill. You can't fucking shoot a little girl in a car 334 times and then also kill the fucking paramedics that were trying to save her life after you murdered their entire family as she looked at the dead corpses of her fucking family members. You can't do that. And then they'll cry and whine and then you'll be like, okay, fine. They called it the impenetrable dome. No, that's what I'm saying. And now they're whining. Now they're making themselves a victim. I'm like, bitch, then why are you attacking? Hello? There's no such thing as absolutes. Remember that, chat. There's no such thing as absolutes. You know, like, there's no such thing as, like, impossible, right? And that applies to being an impenetrable dome, right? No, there's gotta be a weakness to that. No one has tried to fight back. And this is the first time people are fighting back. A whole ass country is fighting back, and now, you know, it's not impenetrable anymore, so come on. No, you can't kill a family of 4. Then he starts bitching and call you an anti-Semite. No, it's true. And then it has nothing to do with the Jewish people, by the way. There's a bunch of Jewish people who are against this. And that's because they're not from Israel. That's because they're actually Jewish people that have actually suffered from, like, Nazi Germany. So, like, the people who had families be killed, fucking gassed in gas chambers, those are the only normal people. Maybe, yeah, you have like 1 or 2 people that are fucking crazy, but most of them are fucking normal. And when they see what Israel is doing and then pretending like they're actually Jewish, they go, no, it's not true. And Israel shouldn't be saying shit and trying to make the Star of David the fucking next Nazi symbol. That's why it's dangerous to just, like, you know, be an anti-Semite to yourself, basically. That's what they're doing. That's what Israel is doing, is they're using a different war crime tragedy to justify making a really worse Holocaust. This has surpassed the Holocaust in my eyes, so I'm pretty sure the numbers can show that. But of course, we won't see the full extent until many years later, when this is in historic textbooks. And Israel's mostly not Jew. That's also true. Like, a lot of them are LARPing. Like, they're not real. That's what pisses me off more, man. So that's kind of funny. That's what I'm saying. Like, you also gotta be careful to not say anti-Semitic stuff, because obviously bigotry is bigotry. And I don't believe in anti-Semitism. But Israel does. And that's why they keep LARPing. To, like, force people to be racist, and then they can bitch and whine and then kill another kid. They'll use that as an excuse to kill another kid. Chop their head off and their family's head off. It's fucked up. It's more than funny, it's fucked up. But going back to the video, these are the successful strikes that Iran was able to hit, to go through the impenetrable dome and hit Israel's military facilities. That's in Tel Aviv. Oh, thank you for following.
Project_Kaizen just followed.
Thank you, thank you. Hello, my name is Tamashi, and all I gotta say is, oh my god, wait. All I gotta say is Tamadis. I'm a political, grumpy Latina VTuber who lives in Japan. My schedule's kind of weird right now. The new schedule is twice a week I do political commentary, and then twice a week I have fun, okay? Through variety streaming. But thank you for joining. Gracias, gracias. Tamadis. That's my name. Ah, thank you. Gracias. Or are you clapping for Kaizen? My bad. I automatically am like, thank you. But no, that was for Kaizen. My bad. So, you know what, chat? Let's see something good for once. Let's see Israel getting what it deserves.
Whoa. This afternoon, the Israeli town believed to host their nuclear arsenal was hit by an Iranian ballistic missile. Retaliation, Tehran said, for a strike on one of their nuclear facilities.
Yes, retaliation.
It was not the only attack that expanded the scope of this war. Iran fired 2 ballistic missiles at the UK-US base on Diego Garcia, around 2,400 miles from the Iranian coast. Although neither hit their target, it is far further than their missiles were thought to be able to reach.
We've seen the latest in Iran's reckless.
What did this bitch say? Chat, if someone bombs your atomic facility and so you retaliate and bomb that person's like nuclear facility, is that reckless, chat? I don't even want to watch the rest of this BS, but you get the narrative that they're trying to pull here, right? It's pretty fucked up. It's pretty fucked up. So, let's see. Boop.
As the conflict enters.
Oh, wait. Oh my god. I pressed the same one. This one.
Hello and welcome to MEE Live.
No. So, yeah, I watched like 3 minutes of this and I also got pissed off. I couldn't believe that even TRT World, okay, was like, oh my god, fucking the water desalination plants can end the Iran war. But at what cost? This will cause so much fucking damage if Iran keeps retaliating every time Israel attacks them. Is it worth it, Iran? They should be the bigger person and just take it. And just take these fucking missiles that are hitting their energy facilities. And they're the bad people for attacking and retaliating. Like, what is going on here? The gaslighting is insane. Who are you? Go back. Fuck. But let's see like 3 minutes of this shit.
Of the US-Israeli war on Iran. Today, can drinking water be a weapon of war? And why are oil prices still rising after the biggest release of reserves in history?
Sorry, I'm drinking water. Oh, fuck that guy. Satan Yahoo.
You think the war on oil is bad? Wait for the war on water. Attacks on oil facilities in Iran and the Gulf have seen black rain fall from the sky and oil prices soar to over $100 a barrel.
Black
but in the
rain.
firing line of escalating warfare, there's a resource even more precious than oil. Fresh water runs scarce, and tens of millions of thirsty people rely on 400 desalination plants lining the Persian Gulf. This infrastructure is arguably the region's greatest Achilles heel. In the UAE and Kuwait, 90% of drinking water is desalinated seawater. In Oman, it's 86%, and in Saudi Arabia, 70%.
So you gotta think about this, chat. It's not only oil, it's water. Oh my god, 90% of water? Jesus Christ.
No one wants a war on water, but the first stone has already been thrown. On the 7th of March, Iran's foreign minister claimed the US struck a desalination plant on the country's Keshem Island. He warned the US set this precedent, not Iran.
And he's right, by the way. This guy has been dropping so many bars, chat. He's like fucking... He's crazy, man. He says the biggest bars all the time. He's basically the representative, like, you know, of Iran. You'll see him a lot in the news. And the thing is like, I don't like that she says Iran claims, right? They claim, they supposedly, stuff like that. It literally happened. Israel literally attacked first and attacked their water supply. How you can't just take that. How come your people don't deserve water? Well, if your people don't deserve water, then Israel and their allies don't deserve water either. I'm sorry, but fair is fair.
The next day, Bahrain's government said an Iranian drone strike damaged a Bahraini desalination plant. If confirmed, direct attacks on drinking water violate the laws of war. Iran says the US struck first.
They did.
But it's a rule of war that an outmatched army will use unconventional tactics.
An outmatched army. Okay, I'm assuming she's talking about Iran right now. An outmatched army will use unconventional tactics. What are you fucking talking about? Israel attacked first. Israel and the US attacked first. And they attacked the water plant first. They killed the children first. They bombed the nuclear facilities first. And now they're bombing water desalination plants first. Yet she goes that the unmatched countries, which is basically Iran because they don't have high-tech weapons, right? They're gonna use unconventional fucking ideas. What are you talking about? They're just retaliating. All of these ideas are from the US, Israel, and their allies, okay? Let's get that fucking straight. Pisses me off hearing this shit.
Iran's playbook against America's military might is apparent. Hit regional allies where it hurts and hold the Strait of Hormuz.
That is what Israel is doing. I can't hear this. But basically, I wanted to show you guys this to show you the narrative that is being spread around. But these are legitimate sources, you know, like news sources, right? And these are... This is my way of showing to you guys that these events actually happened. Even though, like, they're saying half-truths. They're saying that Israel struck first, but Iran's the bad guy for attacking back. So, when you hear the news, you gotta, like, turn on your brain and think critically. Just don't take things at face value, because these fucking people twist the truth all the fucking time. And here's proof that it happened, by the way. This is from the International Atomic Energy Agency, okay? International Atomic Energy Agency. The World Center for Cooperation in the Nuclear Field, promoting the safe, secure, and peaceful use of nuclear technology. So they oversee everything. On, when was this? March 30th, I guess for the... Yeah, March 30th at 4:38 a.m. Japan time. They go, based on independent analysis of satellite imagery and knowledge of the installation, the IAEA has confirmed the heavy water production plant at Kondab, which Iran reported had been attacked on the 27th of March, has sustained severe damage and is no longer operational. The installation contains no declared nuclear material, which is even fucked up that they even have to clarify that. Yeah, this water installation plant had no nuclear weapons in it, guys. But yeah, Iran's not doing this shit. It's the US, guys. But and the US is hitting the nuclear sites. We also gotta just think about the risks of that. The worldwide risks of that. Look at this shit.
We don't want to see a nuclear accident. Second,
no.
We don't want to see
I wonder
more
if I can
nuclear
zoom in.
weapon states in the world. I therefore, again, call on maximum restraint.
What actually happens if a nuclear facility is hit? Does it trigger a disaster or something more contained? The answer is complicated. First, this is important to understand. Nuclear facilities are built with layers of safety, backup power, automatic shutdown systems, and protective structures designed to prevent catastrophe. So a direct strike does not
I'm gonna zoom in
automatically
for you
nuclear
guys.
explosion, and reactors cannot explode like nuclear weapons. The real danger is less obvious. It comes down to the cooling systems. Even after shutdown, nuclear fuel stays extremely hot. If cooling fails, temperatures rise quickly, fuel can overheat, hydrogen can build up, and in worst cases, explosions can release radioactive material. That is what happened in Fukushima.
When the accident happened back on 3/11, the uranium core had all the fission products in it from operations,
And March 11th in Japan was the Great Japan earthquake, where there's like a huge ass earthquake, a bunch of tsunamis started hitting Japan, and it killed a shit ton of people. Sorry. And it also actually ended up hitting the Fukushima plant, and a lot of nuclear damage was done. It was pretty insane. Thank you, Project Kaisen. I'm just gonna call you Kaisen. Thank you, Kaisen. So that's what they mean by March 11th. March 11th, 2011.
highly radioactive materials, iodine, cesium, strontiums, plutonium as well, though plutonium doesn't move much. But when it melted, it all mixed up, and then it came out on the floor, and in the, sort of like lava out of a volcano, that kind of hot, and then it moved and flowed sideways, but inside were all these fission products. And as some of the steel melted around it, the concrete degraded, all the other materials, melted wires, melted lead, they all mixed together with the radioactive materials. So the cesium and the strontium. So it has a high gamma field that's like X-rays. So people can't go in there.
If radiation is released, it does not stay contained. It can spread through the air, contaminate soil, and enter water systems. Analysts warn that if Iran's Bushehr plant were to be struck, a regional radiological crisis could be triggered if cooling or power systems are damaged. And there is a unique risk here, because the Gulf is a relatively enclosed body of water. Experts say contamination could spread quickly across multiple countries.
Jesus. Oh, I should read that. If an incident were to occur, it would be the least regional in scale and would affect a large number of countries in the Middle East. None of the parties to the conflict would avoid radiation exposure in the event of a serious accident in Bushehr.
Many Gulf states rely heavily on desalination plants for drinking water. If seawater is contaminated, millions could lose access to safe water, turning an environmental crisis into a humanitarian one. It is also important to note, not all nuclear sites carry the same risk. Large power plants are far more dangerous than smaller or inactive facilities, and some of Iran's key sites are built deep underground, built to withstand airstrikes, so an attack might not destroy them, only delay them. And that raises another concern: escalation. Analysts warn a strike on one of its nuclear facilities could push Iran to accelerate its nuclear program or reduce cooperation with international inspectors. In other words, an attack meant to stop nuclear threat could make one more likely.
By bombing Iran, they will simply reinforce the animosity and the tension that already exists between Iran and the United States.
Yep.
And it really sets the whole region on a really dangerous course.
So what is the bottom line?
The nuclear power plant should never be attacked, or its physical
Yes.
integrity should never be compromised.
Best case, damage but no radiation release. Worst case, cooling systems fail, leading to widespread contamination across the region. And everything depends on one thing: whether those safety systems can withstand being attacked. Because with nuclear infrastructure, the biggest danger is not always the strike itself, but what happens after.
Ay, ay, ay. That's crazy. That's so confusing. What? 75? Okay. Ay, ay, ay. So, like, imagine just contaminating the whole fucking ocean with radioactive material. Just make water undrinkable. That's crazy. But who are the fuckers bombing these places? Don't bomb nuclear facilities. Oh my god, man. And then, speaking of bombing, well, I don't know if you guys were keeping up with the news, but it was fucking scary to me. Having to hear, well, not hear, but fucking read a tweet by Trump, okay, on April 7th, at least Japan time. I don't know if that's the exact date. But on April 7th, Trump was like, a whole civilization will die tonight. No, wait, let me read it. A whole civilization will die tonight. Hinting that he was gonna drop a nuclear bomb on Iran. I thought we, all my life, chat, and probably yours too, we have all agreed on the dangers, on how bad fucking bombing Japan was twice with nuclear bombs. Okay? That's why we made fucking international law. A lot of restrictions were put in place. A lot of people were trying to avoid nuclear weapons from being created. Yet just like that, within one fucking tweet, we had fucking Trump just saying, yep, a whole civilization is gonna die tonight. Basically, they're gonna drop a nuclear bomb on Iran. What the fuck? Obviously, I have to show you the evidence of that. I still have family there. That's the thing! Whole ass generations of families are being wiped out with regular bombs, okay? With regular missiles. A whole ass generation. Fucking, like 2-3 generations of families wiped out from existence. And just like that, you want to do that even worse? Wipe out more generations of families, more history, more culture, more people, innocent people, families, in the matter of seconds? And I'm pissed off at the U.S. and no one, like, speaking out. No one saying, we gotta stop this shit. Fuck.
Breaking news right now on the war in Iran and that looming deadline. This morning, President Trump is ramping up threats to launch a, quote, to launch a massive attack if Tehran cannot forge a deal to open the Strait of Hormuz by 5 p.m. The president posting on social media minutes ago, quote, "A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will," end quote. Iran's leaders responded to Trump's other threats overnight, saying if more attacks are carried out, the U.S. will be blocked from getting oil and gas for years. Iran's president says more than 14 million Iranians have declared their readiness to give their lives to defend the country. An Iranian minister has called for young people to form human chains around the country's power plants ahead of the deadline.
And I thought that was very beautiful, but very sad. Fucking, we had people, we had musicians, we had civilians, we just had regular people forming human chains around well-known bridges, nuclear facilities, in order to try to help prevent the U.S. from using a fucking nuclear bomb on them. And they were also like recording everything. It was pretty scary seeing a famous musician just playing music. I don't know if it was a nuclear facility or a bridge, but I believe it was in front of a nuclear facility. Live streaming himself playing music, Iranian music, you know. Sitting there hoping that the U.S. doesn't drop a whole ass nuclear bomb on them. That was insane to me. Like, having to, like, go to bed the next, like, after seeing them, be like, oh my god, please don't drop a bomb. Please don't fucking drop a nuclear fucking bomb.
Experts warn what Trump is threatening could be considered a war crime if civilian infrastructure is hit.
Whether something is a crime or not a crime would have to be decided by a court, but any attack on civilian infrastructure is a violation of international law, and a very clear one.
President Trump has previously brushed off concerns about committing possible war crimes. Iran just yesterday rejecting a ceasefire proposal. The UN Security Council is set to vote on a resolution to unblock the strait this morning.
So, I hear the warning, right? The possibility of Trump dropping, the US and Israel dropping a nuclear bomb in Iran within hours, within 24 hours, within not even 24 hours, maybe like in a couple of hours. That was a huge possibility. Seeing people making human chains in order to protect these nuclear facilities from getting bombed in a form of protest against America. And then you hear the next day, oh, actually, let me show you these human chains, because it didn't really show it on that clip, but I tweeted about it. I forgot what I said. I said, Iranians are forming human chains to protect their homeland and energy supplies from being destroyed by a nuclear bomb. If you haven't said a thing of this nor protested it, you among all Americans are complicit for letting it get this far. Do not let the US drop a fucking nuclear bomb. And so these are the power plants and bridges that the Iranian people, civilians, formed around these plants. And I'm sorry, Americans can't compare to that, man. I'm telling you, that jet fighter from the US using high technology, to bomb an elementary school is a pussy compared to this, okay? They got nothing. Seeing that, and then waking up the next day, all of a sudden, April 8th, ceasefire announcement has been announced. So, after 39 days of attacks on Iran and a threat to wipe out a whole civilization, I want to zoom this in. Look, oh my god. That was actually, I think that was actually the school, and you can actually hear people screaming as they're being bombed by the fucking US. US President Donald Trump agreed to suspend all attacks for 2 weeks, with Iran agreeing to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The 2-week ceasefire allows the countries to meet for negotiations in Pakistan. Iran had proposed a 10-point plan, which Trump called a workable basis on... I didn't read the rest, my bad. It includes the withdrawal of US forces from the region. Establishing a safe transit... Sorry, I'm getting distracted from the bombs. Establishing a safe transit protocol in the Strait of Hormuz that guarantees Iran's dominance. The end of the war against the axis of resistance. Full payment of Iran's damages, releasing frozen Iranian assets. Trump says the ceasefire period will allow an agreement to be finalized. So, I think Pakistan released like a rundown of what this 10-point plan was. I forgot to add the source here, but I actually wrote down the 10-point plan in my notes, in my notebook. I'll be right back. Let me go get it. So, this was according to Drop Site News. Feel free to go search that up, but I got this from Drop Site News, and just be like aware that Iran hadn't released anything official, but since they're doing negotiations through Pakistan, I think the Pakistan government is the one that gave the rundown of this like 10-point ceasefire plan. And so basically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, there's 8 here. So the 10-point plan, we don't even know what it was. But basically, number 1, control of the Hormuz Passage, coordinated with Iran's armed forces. Number 2, the necessity to end the war against the Axis factions, which is what we just heard just now. Full withdrawal of U.S. combat forces from all bases and deployment points in the region. The establishment of a Strait of Hormuz safe passage protocol, guaranteeing Iran's control to the agreed protocol. Full compensation to Iran's damage according to assessments of war damage. Oh, I wrote that way wrong. Lifting of all primary and secondary sanctions, and resolutions of the IAEA Board of Governors and Security Council. We just actually, the IAEA is the International Alliance of nuclear energy, I think. I forgot what it was. What was their name, chat? Do you remember? IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency. Jesus Christ! There's sanctions? That's crazy. Okay. Release of all blocked Iranian assets abroad. And then finally, all the terms above codified in the binding Security Council resolution. So, when people heard that this ceasefire was happening, everyone, the world agreed that that meant the U.S. lost, obviously. And now Iran has more control of the Strait of Hormuz. And that things might be over. And for me, since nothing was certified, right, I hoped that Iran would actually free Palestine. You know, nothing was like finalized, but I really hoped that they would help free Palestine, that would be part of the negotiations, and also helping Lebanon and other parts of the region. And from what we can see here, that is technically one of the plans here. They literally said that they want full withdrawal of all bases in every region. So, not every region, but you know what I mean. So technically, you know, basically they need to just stop bombing everyone. Okay? And guess... Okay. And then also I thought about it. And I'm like, I'm sorry. But I've been through this. I've seen the news. The first time it happened, I was absolutely devastated. And there's a clip of me reacting to Israel doing this. Okay? And me crying my eyes out because I couldn't believe the cruelty and evilness of Israel, claiming that there's a ceasefire to get people's hopes up, and the next day bombing the shit out of everyone that was celebrating the end of war. Howdy, Tama. Here's to tune into Tama Radio and lurk. Thank you, Bleeder, for lurking. There's a clip out of me, like, just not being able to process that. Being traumatized, being sad for these people. Now I'm used to it. Israel does that shit all the time. They say there's a ceasefire, there isn't. They'll gladly chop off the heads of many children the next day. So what I thought, I was like, Israel cannot keep a ceasefire. Impossible. Incapable of doing so. Incapable of following morals, international law, caring about humanity, caring about children, the innocent. Israel's not capable of that. The U.S. is Israel. So, all I could say in my head, I said, well, I hope Israel doesn't bomb them the next day. And Israel didn't bomb Iran. Instead, they bombed Lebanon. They did 100 strikes within 10 fucking minutes.
On Wednesday launched what it described as its largest coordinated wave of aerial attacks on Lebanon since the war began, striking what the IDF claims to have been 100 Hezbollah command and military targets across the country in just 10 minutes. Lebanon's health ministry says more than 100 people have...
I remember standing
The Israeli military on Wednesday launched what it described as its largest coordinated wave of aerial attacks on Lebanon since the war began.
I'm gonna zoom in for you guys.
The IDF claims to have been 100 Hezbollah command and military targets across the country in just 10 minutes. Lebanon's health ministry says more than 100 people have been killed and hundreds more wounded in this latest attack. First responders have been working to rescue survivors and recover the dead. In the capital, Beirut, strikes were carried out across central parts of the city, including areas not covered by Israeli evacuation orders.
You can see behind me, these appear to be residential buildings, apartments. This is a very busy area full of shops and a busy roadway. There would have been many people at this site and around the area at the time of the blast. And now emergency services are working to dig through the rubble for victims.
Hopes that the ceasefire between the US, Israel and Iran would extend to Lebanon were quickly dashed just hours after it came into effect.
What kind of life is this? We don't know what will happen in the next hour. The last thing we could imagine is this kind of attack occurring in the center of Beirut.
Both the US and Israel have claimed that Lebanon was never part of the agreement, despite claims to the contrary from Pakistan's Prime Minister, who helped broker the deal. Now,
even Pakistan says so. Jesus Christ.
Possible retaliation from Hezbollah ally Iran has left many fearful over what now lies ahead for the people of Lebanon. The Israeli military on Wednesday.
The next day after the ceasefire, within hours, okay, this is the cruelty. This is expected. You know, I'm so sad, pissed off, disgusted that I knew this was gonna happen. And now they're claiming that Lebanon wasn't in the agreement of the ceasefire, which is stupid. Like, what did Lebanon do? Why are they attacking them? They killed mostly everyone here is a civilian. Is Beirut, did they say that Beirut is the capital of Lebanon? You're telling me that if someone bombed LA with 100 strikes in 10 minutes, you're not gonna be fucking surprised? Wait, what's the capital of California? But you get what I mean. That's basically what they fucking did. And here's the thing, chat. Once again, US and Israel are claiming that Lebanon was never included in the ceasefire. This is obviously a lie. But let's look at the death toll, okay? Let's look at the death toll. How many people died? So, this is from The Guardian. Let me go back here. This is from The Guardian. It says, the deadliest 10 minutes in decades, Lebanese reel from Israeli strikes that killed hundreds. So, Beirut residents and officials says civilians were main casualties in operation that bombed 100+ targets in 10 minutes. It took Israel only 10 minutes to carry one of the worst mass killings in Lebanon since the end of the country's civil war in 1990. Omar Raqqa heard the warplanes but did not feel the explosions. It was only when he woke up face down on the street, Jesus fucking Christ, bleeding, that he understood what had happened. The building next to his in the Barber neighborhood of central Beirut had been destroyed by 2 Israeli bombs. He then ran through the flaming wreckage to find his sister, screaming, Jesus Christ. Shadeh Faki, a a 24-year-old calisthenics trainer, also ran towards the impact site. His friend, Mahmoud, was inside the struck building. He could only get so close. The multi-story building was a pile of burning rubble. Faki began to pull people out of the apartments in front of his site, carrying in his arms an old woman who could not walk. There was no sign of Mahmoud in the neighborhood. Once thought to be safe from Israeli bombs, felt like a war zone. Dr. Ghassan Abu Sita was in the emergency room when the casualties began to arrive. Among the wounded were children pulled from the rubble. Many arrived alone, without parents, their identities unknown. The youngest was an 11-month-old. I had to operate on him just to relieve some pressure in his head, said Abu Sita, who works as a surgeon at the American University of Beirut Medical College. The flood of wounded came after Israel bombed more than 100 targets across Lebanon in those 10 minutes on Wednesday, killing more than 300 people and wounding 1,165 people. According to an initial count by Lebanon's civil defense, the death toll, which was expected to rise as more bodies were found, was higher than Beirut's 2020 port explosion, one of the largest non-nuclear explosions in human history. The Israeli military said it had hit Hezbollah. I guess Hezbollah is the Hamas. Is the new Hamas, guys. Well, not new, but that's gonna be their fucking excuse of bombing a fucking 11-month-old. By the way, command and control centers in Beirut, the capital, in the bombing campaign, which it dubbed Operation Eternal Darkness. That's what they see. Eternal Darkness. They know what the fuck they're doing, bro. But residents and Lebanese officials said the strikes, which used 1,000-pound bombs in densely packed residential areas of Beirut, mainly killed civilians. Lebanon's Prime Minister Nawaf Salam accused Israel in a statement of targeting densely populated residential neighborhoods and killing unarmed civilians in breach of international law. Abu Sita said most of the people were wounded in a very short period of time, which was intentional to flood the health system. And he compared the aftermath to the mass casualty events he saw while working in Gaza. So he worked in Gaza too? Jesus Christ! He went to go save people in Gaza and then went to Lebanon and then saw the same fucking thing? That's insane! The AUBMC received about 70 wounded people all at once, many critically injured, according to Dr. Firas, a surgeon and Lebanon's former health minister. Crush injuries, lots of elderly people, a woman who had to have both her legs amputated. Abaid rattled off the toll of the day in a tired voice. Jesus Christ. Wow. Oopsie. There was a 90-year-old who I just left a bit ago. He passed away from his wounds. There was nothing I could do, Abiyad said. These are civilians who, without any warning, their whole apartment building was flattened. So you can imagine the severity of injuries that we are getting. First responders and Barber worked to find people trapped under the rubble. Firefighters sprayed water on the smoldering remains of the building, while forklifts lifted crumpled cars to clear the road for ambulances. An emergency worker on the scene said they had not yet found any survivors. Only pieces of people. A man FaceTimed his son, showing him a crumpled car. You said it was a Volkswagen, he said, helplessly looking at the crowd around him as he inspected the car. Its badge had been blown off the bumper, and the twisted metal left the car unrecognizable. Raka watched as the civil defense worked. I really didn't think something like this would happen here. Nothing like this happened in the last war, and because of that, all of the refugees came here for safety. The 38-year-old supermarket owner said, his head wrapped in blood-stained bandages. Barber, like many of the areas in Beirut that Israel struck on Wednesday, is a mixed neighborhood where Hezbollah enjoys little support. As more than 1.1 million people were displaced by Israeli bombing over the last month, schools in Barber opened their doors to shelter the fleeing families. The neighborhood had not previously been considered within the scope of Israel's war in Lebanon, but Israel's military suggested on Wednesday that such areas had now become targets all of a sudden, claiming they had been infiltrated by Hezbollah fighters. Israel's Arabic language spokesperson said, recently the IDF observed the terrorist group Hezbollah began leaving the Shiite strongholds in the suburbs and repositioning itself towards northern Beirut and the mixed areas of the city. He vowed that Israel would continue to pursue Hezbollah fighters wherever they may be located. You mean you're just gonna shoot? Like, you're gonna blindfold yourself and shoot any area that you think Hezbollah is in? You're just gonna kill people like that? Well, they did it with Palestine. The Israeli military statements and bombing erased any hope that the ceasefire with Iran might also halt the war in Lebanon. The war, which started after Hezbollah launched rockets at Israel on the 2nd of March, prompting an Israeli bombing campaign and invasion of Lebanon, has left around 1,800 people dead and now over 5,000 wounded in Lebanon. Barber's residents rejected Israel's explanation of its attacks. Of course they did. Fucking Christ. Saying the strikes were driving even Hezbollah critics towards the group. Faki said, it's getting ridiculous. There's no Hezbollah here. The Israelis are just getting happy when they bomb people. It's not about Hezbollah. Just stop fucking bombing us. If you want to kill Hezbollah, go for it, but don't kill civilians because you're creating anger in us against Israel, and we will have to act like Hezbollah just to defend our country. But I don't want to do that. I just want to live in peace. As night fell, people began to take stock of the dizzying, bloody day. Pictures of dust-covered babies pulled out from the rubble circulated on WhatsApp groups as people searched for their relatives. People shared a selfie of a smiling elderly couple, Mohammed and Khatun Karshat, desperately asking if anyone had seen them after they went missing in one of the strikes. Their bodies were found under the rubble late in the night, and people kept sharing their selfie, now in memoriam. Faki lingered by the impact site in Badbour as rescuers worked. It had been hours and he had not heard from his friend Mahmoud. His calls went to voicemail. It's been the worst day since the war started, Faki said. And what I'm most sad about is that my pretty Lebanon, our beautiful Lebanon, soon it will all be brought down to the ground. Damn. And that's the end of that. I didn't even read all of that. That's crazy. That's actually pretty intense. That really hurts my heart, Chet. So, I'm getting near the end of the stream. And I just want to say, like, guys, you're gonna just don't lie to yourself, man. You can't keep thinking that this doesn't affect you. Not only affect you, but especially, like, not even affect VTubers. There is a toxic VTuber culture where only racist bigots can say whatever the fuck they want and get successful. But the moment you speak politically and start humanizing people, oh, then we have a problem. Now you're being too political. We don't want politics in the VTuber community. I just want to ignore the world's problems and have fun while my big-tittied favorite VTuber girl or ballsack guy, whatever the fuck, makes me horny. It makes me feel better about myself. No. Let people talk about what they want to talk, especially if it involves humanizing people. This affects VTubers. And I've been saying this shit for many years. It affects anime fans, it affects VTubers, it affects you and me. And we need to use every fucking platform to get people aware of this, get angry, and stop their corrupt governments from bombing these innocent people. I've been saying this for years. It's been over, what, 3 years now? Since Palestine? Since October 7th? Literally, chat. I feel like I've been talking to a wall here, and yes, I've had more people starting to finally hear me out, and I'm happy about that. But not enough people are taking this seriously. This affects VTubers whether you fucking like it or not. And this is the reason why I'm saying this, by the way, is because unfortunately, a VTuber by the name of Camila has lost family due to Israel's deadly 10-minute 100 missile strikes on Lebanon.
Here, say what's going on, what's happening, probably because they don't have Twitter or something, but Imp has family that live overseas, and 160 bombs within 10 minutes destroyed so many. I've had several of my first cousins die. And my dad's nephew, and just a lot of people that we knew died just like that. And I can't do anything. There's nothing I can do. Ever since it happened, I've been finding it hard to breathe. I feel like every day my chest feels so tight because I can't do anything. I'm sorry that you don't have to see me this way.
It's just it's just it it breaks my heart that that even needed to happen. Because it's something that I spoke of for many years, and seeing it actually happen to someone in the VTuber community that is like big, right? That people actually know and support. Like, I didn't want people to take this seriously after a famous VTuber's family was fucking killed, okay? I wish people would have cared in order to prevent her family from being fucking killed. So it just feels like I failed to make this dumbass community just fucking care. Shit. Like, we could have prevented this, chat. You don't get it. I've been saying it for years. This girl's family didn't need to die. But we all normalized it. Everyone, including VTubers. That's the thing. No one is exempt from this. No one has the right to just ignore what's going on. You don't have that right. I don't care what people say about VTubing. Care. Because not caring, your feigned ignorance, killed this girl's fucking family. And that's fucked up. And I'm just like angry and sad because I've been saying this was going to happen ever since after October 7th. Once I started learning, once I started realizing, I did everything I could. Obviously not in the right ways because I'm not successful and I couldn't get more people to be aware or care. But it just broke my heart. It just broke my heart that her family had to die. And for many people to care about it. You know? That didn't need to happen. We should have been caring long ago. But I'm happy that she's getting a lot of support. Actually, I should like... We should probably... You should go support her. I think this is a Clipper, I believe. And I don't know. Yeah, this is a parody account. I think this is a Clipper. Camila Vax. They've actually done a fundraiser after clipping this moment. Let me go to YouTube. I feel out of respect, I feel like I shouldn't just watch this whole 10-minute video. I feel like you guys yourselves should go and support them. Go watch the video yourselves and go donate to the charity to help families affected in Lebanon. So I'm gonna share the link here for you guys. Please follow, subscribe, and donate to charity. This is the, I'm assuming the like a clip channel, but I'll go to her. Yeah, this is a clip channel. I'll go to her specific channel account. There you go. Here, I'm just gonna write Camila. I know I follow her. Sorry, I didn't expect to cry. Failed to send message? Oh my god. I'm being censored. But her Twitter account is KumilQ. Oh, this is her Twitch. Okay. Of course. Jesus Christ. Why did I forget Twitch existed? Oh, I am following her already. That's crazy. I thought I didn't chat here. I'm gonna shout her out, actually. What is it? Camila? Just Camila? She has a Twitch. Okay. Shout out Camila, chat. Oh, yeah. There you go. Go follow her. Go support. Go donate. That Clippers channel though is doing a charity fund, so I think it's also important to follow that clip channel as well. I don't know if you guys saw the YouTube thing. Paste. There you go. Here, I pasted it again. Hopefully it worked. But yeah, you should definitely go follow them. Follow, subscribe, give them their support. Your support, I mean. I'm sure you can find their links to their other streaming platforms. Hi. How do I pause this? But yeah, donate to charity, guys. I'm also planning, after fulfilling my charity goal for Churla, I think we're like over 50% there. I'm also going to look for a charity to help Lebanon as well, and Iran. Most likely gonna be the PCRF again, since they help Palestine, but also help like within that region. But I heard that Doctors Without Borders is a really good charity, so please support them. Next stream, this is the end of the stream now. For the next stream, I'm going to be talking about how VTubing as a whole has contributed and normalized genocide, and how it basically led to this point as well. Before even I was a VTuber, before I became a VTuber, chat, I saw how bad things were getting. And so I have basically lots of evidence of how people basically encouraged genocide, which is the main reason why I kept speaking out against it, because I saw how much bigotry was allowed within VTubing. And when after October 7th happened, it just skyrocketed. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be talking about on Tuesday. Okay. But whew. Sorry, let me compose myself. The next TamaTalks will be on Tuesday. I'm gonna try to stream political streams twice a week instead of only once. And they're gonna be on Tuesdays and Thursdays will be my political days, and Fridays and Saturdays will be my fun days. I will post the schedule tomorrow for the next 2 days and next week. And also, I can just tell you guys what I plan to stream tomorrow. It's actually gonna be a really fun stream, something to lighten up the mood, and a game that I've been wanting to play for a long time, way before the new version came out. And now that it did, I want to play this with y'all. Chotomate ne. Ay. Assets? Ideas? Plans? There we go. Found it, chat. I found it and I just exited. I exited out. I pressed X. I was like, bye. Fuck this. Fuck me. Okay. Jesus Christ. Sorry. My brain just starts not working when I'm emotional. Give me a bit to recover. PNGs? tomorrow we're gonna be playing the demo version of Tomodachi Life, yo! Woo! Finish The Walking Dead? I will, but I've been like really depressed and sad, and I'm sure you guys are as well. And so I feel like to lighten up the mood, I should try this game out, and it's gonna be so fucking funny. I already know, I've seen people play it before. And I'm gonna be playing it with Zaya36. Basically, I'm going to use them as an experiment, okay? But I don't want to go too far, so I'm like, hey, give me consent to create a mini version of you and put you in this world and abuse you. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fucking fun. I'll have to drop by. I didn't see Zia. Wow, I read it as Zia. Zaya in a while. You're just gonna watch it because Zaya's there? How dare you? Oh, has Zaya not been streaming? Sorry, I've been so out of it, chat. I don't even know what's going on. But yeah, I'm gonna be playing this with Zaya36. So expect some really fun fucking moments. It's gonna be hilarious. I'm gonna create a me of Zaya and just abuse him. I'm also gonna use my me, but I wanna create him and see how our little me's interact with each other in this Tomodachi Life demo. There's been so many fucking funny shit on Twitter already. I'm so excited to play this. So join me tomorrow in 24 hours. Actually, no, in like 22 hours, chat? In 22 hours, join me tomorrow, 11 p.m. JST, to play Tomodachi Life with my besto friendo, Zaya36. This has been TamaTalks, and I hope you guys learned something today. I'll see you tomorrow, and my next TamaTalks will be next week, Tuesday. Please follow my socials, YouTube, Discord, anything. I shouted out socials, my bad. Or just actually go ahead and look at my About page. I updated it. It looks so pretty now. Not really my style. I try to make it myself, but it's super pretty now, chat. So all the sources, all of the links and stuff are also there. Have fun reading all of that. But this has been Tamashi33, and all I gotta say is goodbye. See you guys tomorrow, okay? At 11 p.m. Bye-bye.
Stay してるから今会えないよ今だけだから今